With all of the headlines about Project 2025, I thought it was time for me to check out why the media has decided to push this narrative. Project 2025 is an extensive 922-page policy framework developed by the Heritage Foundation, which is considered a leading conservative think tank known for its influential role in shaping public policy. Donald Trump has nothing to do with the Heritage Foundation, and the proposed initiatives have not been endorsed by him or his team. The document outlines a comprehensive vision for the first 180 days of a new Republican presidential administration in 2025. The foundation has made it quite clear that they do not speak for any candidate or campaign. In fact, no candidate is mentioned in the voluminous document, which also provides a detailed roadmap for governance. Again, it is important to understand that Project 2025 was created by an independent group of people. What we know is that the media and the Democrats are desperately trying to tie Trump to this foundation and this document for some reason. The machine completely fabricates a scenario, and it's up to Trump to disprove it. The machine doesn't have to prove anything, they just say so. Right now, I see it as someone like you or me writing an extensive manual on how the next Republican president should address the country's problems. Today we are going to try to figure out what is going on with this Heritage Foundation and their Project 2025 agenda. The question is, who are these people that wrote and are promoting Project 2025? So first, we're going to look into the alleged extreme right-wing Heritage Foundation. Are they true patriots, or are that controlled opposition trying to discredit Trump and the Republicans before an election? Controlled opposition is when someone secretly manages a group which looks like their opposition, but it's not. Instead, it can be the other side trying to manipulate the minds of genuine dissent to move their agenda forward. Basically, it's like creating a fake social media account that looks like you, but it's someone who wants to discredit you. This happens to many online influencers and public figures. Well, guess what? It happens in politics too. So we must first find out if the Heritage Foundation is genuine conservative sentiment, or if it's masquerading as conservatives to make them look bad. In warfare, the tactic of pretending to be the enemy to discredit them is known as a false flag operation. This involves carrying out an action under the guise of another party, usually an adversary, with the intent of misleading and creating a false narrative about the enemy's actions. There are many types of false flag operations. Let's check out this Heritage Foundation, who has decided to put themselves in the forefront of this political mess. I'm not sure how this video is going to go yet, so search for the answers with me and question everything you see in the same manner. I began my research by going to the Heritage Foundation webpage, which revealed they are in Washington, D.C. I immediately went to the link for staff. In a separate tab, I opened up the website Open Secrets, where you can follow the political buck and find out who's donating or getting money from who. I'll put these links in the description for you so that you can conduct your own research. I first did a quick lookup of John Backiel, the Heritage Foundation's VP of Finance and Accounting, and their treasurer. The donor lookup showed no donations to anyone by Backiel, but I decided to look a little further because John was raised in Connecticut, was educated in Massachusetts and Austin, Texas, and is currently residing in Maryland. Does anyone see cause for concern here? If it occurred to you that all of these states are strong Democratic holds, so I attempted to find out how he is registered politically, but Maryland makes it tough because they want the birthday and zip code. With a little poking around and the discovery of an old My Life profile, I found his zip code and birth date. Unfortunately, there were no results returned, so he might be registered somewhere else, or it could be hidden for some reason. I decided he was taking too much time, and I moved on to other staff of the Heritage Foundation. Here's what I found. The president of the Heritage Foundation and its lobbying arm, Heritage Action, is Kevin D. Roberts. He has served as the president of Wyoming Catholic College and is considered a religiously rooted man. Soon after Roberts joined Heritage in December 2021, the organization established Project 2025. In September 2023, Roberts was selected as president of Heritage Action, the lobbying arm of the Heritage Foundation, after the executive director Jessica Anderson took a leave of absence in July 2023. Roberts serves both organizations in a joint role, so he's kind of the guy. I then searched political contributions for the Heritage Foundation and Heritage Action. Here's what I found. Prior to December 2021, Heritage Action contributed to a lot of Democrats from Oregon, which has also been a blue state for nearly 40 years. Specifically, prior to Roberts becoming president, a search of open secrets revealed that Heritage Action supported Oregon Democrats Elizabeth, Betsy Johnson, Mark Haas, Lori Mons Anderson, Ginny Burdock, Jody Hack, Knut Buehler, Michael Watson, Dave Dotterer, Cliff Bentz, Dennis Richardson, and William Pierce and Paul Evans. They also donated to the campaigns of several Republicans including Knut Buehler, Michael Watson, Dave Dotterer, Cliff Bentz, Dennis Richardson, and William Pierce. But this doesn't necessarily mean that they are genuine in the agenda that they support. Remember, someone can support anything, but that doesn't mean it's righteous and open. I'm going to have to look at the voting records of the Republicans that the foundation is supporting to see if they are rhinos or patriots. A rhino is a Republican in name only. As I have mentioned before, if there is a group of elite people who control our government, it only makes sense that they have bought politicians on both sides of the aisle. That's why Bush was president during 9/11s, which is shrouded in controversy. Remember to always follow the money, not what a politician says. If the Heritage Foundation was created as an apparent conservative think tank as argued, then they will likely be supporting rhinos, but we're going to find out. My next move was to check the voting records of the Republicans that Heritage supports to determine if they are truly a bipartisan organization as they say, or if they support rhinos. Voting record histories can be found at govtrack.us, opensecrets.org, and 538.com, so let's take a look. Again, the Republicans supported by the Heritage Foundation are Knut Buehler, Michael Watson, Dave Dotterer, Cliff Bentz, Dennis Richardson, and William Pierce. I found information on all but one of these people. They all support fiscal responsibility, integrity, blah blah blah. All of them are from Oregon except Michael Watson, who's from Mississippi. Since they primarily were non-congressional members, there will be no voting records to see their true intent. A good investigator doesn't stop. I then found a super PAC associated with the Heritage Foundation named Sentinel Action Fund. In 2022 and 2024, the lion's share of money into the super PAC came from Timothy Mellon and Heritage Action for America. There were also some small donor donations. Timothy Mellon is a member of the Mellon family, which is known for its involvement in banking, oil, and politics. Heritage Action for America is a conservative political advocacy organization and sister organization to the Heritage Foundation established in 2010. The Heritage Foundation focuses on research and policy development. Heritage Action for America actively engages with members of Congress and other policymakers to promote conservative legislation. Now that we know where the Super PAC gets its money, let's look at where they spend it. I searched through the people and organizations that the Sentinel PAC gave money to, as well as the other donors to those recipients. As you can see, usually the rabbit hole runs very deep, but since my goal is to understand the intent of this misinformation campaign about Trump pushing Project 2025, I'm going to share what I found so far. It appears that the Heritage Foundation truly is nonpartisan. They are taking money from the finance and oil industries, and they are giving money to Democrats, rhinos, and patriots, it would appear. I'd like to dig a little deeper, maybe another time. Right now, this organization appears to tip left, but the next section is going to reveal the far-right sentiments of the president of the Heritage Foundation and the Heritage Act, Kevin D. Roberts. Remember him? Kevin Roberts is advocating for a second American Revolution, but outlets such as the Daily Beast are saying that Heritage's Project 2025 calls for a huge increase in presidential power, as well as a transformation of the federal government, replacing existing staffers with an army of those loyal to Trump. Total fabrication. It says nothing about Trump staffers. There's a lot being said in the media right now about Roberts making horrible statements, but there's no evidence that he ever said them. Also, I saw no money going to Trump or any of his organizations from Heritage Foundation or their Super PAC, but I did see a number of Florida donors. The media and all kinds of influencers are making a big deal out of this document by the Heritage Foundation. The project's emphasis on issues such as immigration and a strong national defense resonates with many Americans, but the narrative is to turn these issues into reasons to hate Trump supporters. Project 2025 is viewed by some as a continuation of the Trump administration's agenda, even though Trump had nothing to do with it. It's almost like the word is some kind of trigger word to mold people's minds for or against something. While the Project 2025 document appears to have a foundation that is popular with conservatives and liberals alike, for some reason the powers that be want this taking up a lot of our attention right now. If you'd like to hear a quick summary of the 922-page blueprint for a conservative government, stick around for a little longer. If you want to review the entire document, I'll link it in the description. Project 2025 outlines an ambitious agenda to reshape the federal government and implement conservative policies across various domains. A central focus of the project is significantly reducing the size and scope of the federal government, which I can't say that I disagree with. This includes downsizing the federal workforce, streamlining regulations, and empowering states to take on a more prominent role in policymaking. The project emphasizes a market-driven approach to healthcare, advocating for reforms that promote competition and individual choice. It calls for repealing and replacing the Affordable Care Act, expanding health savings accounts, and promoting price transparency in healthcare. Project 2025 emphasizes strengthening border security, reducing illegal immigration, and reforming the legal immigration system. It advocates for increased border patrol agents, building a wall along the US-Mexico border, and implementing stricter enforcement measures. In education, Project 2025 promotes school choice, parental rights, and a return to traditional values. It supports expanding charter schools, voucher programs, and homeschooling options. The project advocates for a more robust national defense, increased military spending, and a more assertive foreign policy. It emphasizes confronting adversaries like China and Russia, strengthening alliances, and projecting American strength globally. Whether you agree with Project 2025 or not is not the point. The concern of all Americans is that the misinformation stops. The media and political machine needs to be held accountable for the information that they disseminate. We have a right to expect honesty from both our government and our media. Now let's wrap this topic up with a final summary. The truth about Program 25 is that it is an extensive blueprint put together by a political organization called the HeritageFoundation, which also has fundraising and its own super PAC, which is the norm in Washington, D.C. The Heritage Foundation clearly promotes conservative ideals and policies, but it does not appear to have any allegiance to any particular political side. The foundation supports a lot of Democrats and rhinos and a few patriots. Without many hours of further research, it's not clear if there is a sinister agenda to this organization, or if it is operating as controlled opposition. What we do know is that Donald Trump is not directing this Program 25 in any way, and the media machine and the left are telling outright lies about the foundation and its ties to Donald Trump. I don't know their purpose, but I suspect this is a distraction from something else that is happening. Perhaps the SAVE Act, which seeks to stop illegal migrants from voting in the United States presidential election. In an event, in the words of the spin machine, the entire Program 2025 is a nothing burger. The real question is, why are they trying to create something that doesn't exist? I pray for a day when politicians mean what they say, when the media is unbiased, and when Americans can once again make political decisions based on the candidates and their qualifications rather than party lines based on a history of lies. Until next time, keep your eyes open and don't fall for the psyops.